sound of this tone. We will go silence at 30 seconds.
Live on the App State Sports Network. This is Mountaineer Talk, presented by UNC Health Blue Ridge. UNC Health Blue Ridge, your weekly inside scoop on App State basketball. Mountaineer Talk is also brought to you by Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi and some friends and get in the game. Pepsi, the official soft drink of your App State Mountaineers. And by UNC Health Blue Ridge, moving healthcare forward together. Now, to get things started, here's your host, Matt Present.
Good evening. Happy Monday. Welcome to Mountaineer Talk. Thanks for joining us here at River Street Ale House or wherever you might be tuned into our show tonight across our wonderful radio affiliates on Facebook Live. Plenty to get to on tonight's show. Defna Atla joining us to kick things off tonight, and then Kason Jennings coming up at the bottom of the hour. Of course, the head coaches too, Alora Sharp and Dustin Kearns. If you have a question for any of them, feel free to drop a line. You can use the hashtag Mountaineer Talk on X, mountaineertalk@gmail.com, or text the show 828-278-9850. Again, 828-278-9850. All right, Defna, glad to have you on the show tonight to kick things off. You grew up in Turkey, came to the United States, went to West Virginia, and now to App State. Let's start back early in your basketball journey. How would you describe what the basketball landscape is in your hometown?
My hometown is basketball, not as college, but it's we have clubs. And we play in our clubs. We have we call Super League. That's the senior team.
Okay.
We call it that. But our goal to get in the senior team and play with the other teams. And we transfer so many WNBA players in our team and different teams too. So we have lots of experience and lots of traditions coming up in our country too. So yeah.
How popular is basketball in Turkey?
I can say the men's basketball is probably more popular than the women's. But obviously, they're people coming and watching our games. And I can say they're pretty competitive games. So...
but growing up, do most people play basketball, soccer, something else?
I can say soccer.
Yeah.
Soccer is most popular.
But basketball is growing?
Yes.
Okay. When you first came to the United States, when did it first get on your radar that you might come to the U.S. to play college basketball?
I always want to add some experience to the United States because I want to get experience to other nations and how to play basketball in the United States because it's so different than Europe. They play harder, they play more physical, they based on more athleticism here, so I actually want to learn it and get coaching with different staffs and get experience it so in my future, in my pro time, so I can say, okay, I get this experience from United States in different areas so I can bring my leadership and bring more experience on my pro life.
Talk a little bit about the adjustment coming from a different style of basketball where you talk about it being more physical to, in the U.S., maybe a more technical game. How long did it take you to kind of start to feel accustomed to the style that you play here?
I can say a couple months, actually, because I knew I was going to, like, need to more, like, I need, like, strength. I need to go lift room every day. I need to get more, like, conditioning, because it's, like, actually it's so more different, because, like, in Europe, you can say we're, like, based on more sets. But when I came here, I can learn that it's, like, more based on athleticism and, like, strength. So, yeah, it's taken a couple months.
Okay. After your first year at West Virginia, you entered the transfer portal. Tell us how App State got on your radar.
In my recruiting process, I came to visit here. My Coach Rabin actually helped me a lot with this process with Coach Sharp, obviously. But like, I came to visit here. I met all the staff. I see all the campus, and it was like all great experience. The family environment is very like perfect, because I'm far away from my family, so I need actually like a family environment, my teammates, as well as like important as like staffing. So yeah.
What's the time difference between here and back home?
Oh, in winter is 8 hours actually.
Okay.
It's like,
so how have you been able to stay in touch? What's your routine? What's your schedule like to get back in touch with your parents?
We talk a lot in the morning actually, but sometimes we're not even like talking a day, because I have classes in the morning and we have practice, and when I get out to practice, my family already like sleeping.
Right.
So I can say in the morning, lots of conversations.
Okay. You had a chance this year with App State to go back and play against your former school. What was that like?
I feel that was fun, because I know that all of the coaching staff and my some teammates, I think that was fun, and I will say like I know them, and I can like help teammates. Okay, they're gonna doing that. They're gonna doing that.
Giving the scouting report to everyone.
Kind of. Get a little bit spoilers, I can say. But yeah, that was fun.
You were talking about the fact that the way in which things are structured in Turkey, and that you were able to play in these different leagues that had WNBA players on some of those teams. What was it like to be exposed to some of those players and to learn from them?
Yeah, I got more experience in that, because they showed me that how they like playing in the United States in the WNBA. They're like the former college students as well, and they like show me, and then I feel that I can go there and I can like get newer experiences, because I want to learn so much things about basketball and my education career too. So, yeah.
You also had the opportunity to play in China as part of this experience. How did that come to be? What was that experience like?
So it was like the scholarship tournament. We won in Turkey. Tournament. We were like we were in the first team that like achieved this goal, and that happened I think like 4 years and a bit. But like we heard China, and like we get like so excited, and we feel like as a team like we can achieve this goal. And then we go there. I feel like we get what we wanted. We were like the world 5th team in the China, so that's pretty.
That's
good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
One other thing in doing some research and prepping for the show today that really jumped out at me is that you really enjoy building Legos.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think a lot of people think of that as being something that you only do as a kid, but how much fun is it? What's your selling point of like, hey, I'm a college student, I'm playing basketball, but like, here's something that's fun to do as an escape?
Yeah, it's actually for my escape, because I can just think of my Lego sets and I can like play music. So it's just for my like calm time that I can do it like without like basketball or my like the classes. So it's actually like so fun, and I can like.
So what are we building?
I like the Lego sets and like in home actually,
Okay.
but like I build some like. Do you know like the Up movie? They're like house. There's like balloons.
Yeah.
I built that.
That's awesome.
I like the rockets and everything. Okay, I love it. I want to add more thing though.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. Before we let you go, tell us what it is that you're working on. What are your goals for the rest of the season?
I'm working on right now my post moves and my decision making on the court and how to handle the pressure. Because it's like gave me so much like experience when I get this goal and achieve this goal, and I can help with my teammates too. It's just not about me. It's just about us actually. So I just want to helpful to my teammates. How can I be better on the court and obviously off the court? So yeah.
Well, it's been great to get to know you tonight, and best of luck the rest of the way. Looking forward to watching you continue to develop.
Thank you so much.
Defna Atla joining us here tonight on Mountaineer Talk, kicking off the show. Alumni Hall, the official online store of App State Athletics. Shop the latest and largest selection of App State apparel, hats, Yeti, and all your game day gear, including brands like Nike, by visiting Alumni Hall on King Street, or shop anytime at appstatesports.com or alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, the ultimate Mountaineer shopping destination. This is Mountaineer Talk. It's presented by UNC Health Blue Ridge, moving healthcare forward together, and it continues right after this.
Present.
Welcome back to the show. Thanks for spending part of your Monday evening with us. Head coach Laura Sharp alongside as we continue talking App State women's basketball. All right, Coach, coming into the week, what is it that you have presented your team with as a challenge or a biggest focus entering another week on the road?
Yeah, obviously it was a tough week for our team. Didn't get the result in either game that we wanted. Just talking a little bit about the Old Dominion game, I thought we really went up there and competed really hard. I think, Old Dominion was responding after going and losing pretty bad to Georgia Southern on the road, and so we got a responding Old Dominion team. I thought they played as hard as they ever had. I thought our team hung in there. We got down, we fought back, we cut it, we made it really interesting at the end of the game, and so I was proud kind of that fight. And then we go to Georgia State. We led most of the first half. We went into halftime with a 4-point lead, came out, and they really punched us in the nose in the third quarter, and I thought we kind of laid down. And so the messaging is, how can we overcome adversity with our young team and find ourselves on the other side of that? So that was the messaging today. We do these different drills in practice to create adversity, right? And they can't get mad at you as the head coach because you're just holding the standard, right? They can't be mad at the standard. And so we've just got to learn how to, when you're not getting calls on the road and when the other team's going on a run, we have to continue to execute. And I made a list on the board and I just asked them, how do you overcome adversity as an individual, and how do we as a team? And I kind of had made a list, and they agreed with me that our shot selection through adversity, our togetherness, our accountability, just all the things that you need to overcome adversity, we're not really doing as a group. And so we've got to chip away at that.
What are some of those things that you designed for practice to try to make practice as challenging, as preparatory for games as possible, to challenge that adversity, to create those uncomfortable situations?
Yeah, well, one of the things that we've started doing every practice is actually something that Coach Kearns does, and you can ask him about it later. He calls them process drills. So we've kind of created our own process drills. And basically what you do is you put time on the clock. So we do them for 2 minutes. I think that's about what he does his for. And so today we did defense. And so we did, you couldn't foul. We played with that rebound ring up. You couldn't give up an offensive rebound. We had to claim top foot, really slide our feet, biggie step, that type of thing, and you have to do it for 2 minutes. And so every time that there is some sort of mistake, you just start them over. And today it took us about 10 minutes, and then they overcome it and they celebrate it together. And then you do other things. We did an offense drill for 15 minutes. They were down 12. Every time we turned it over, the other team got a point. So we had to dig ourselves out of that 12-point deficit. Same thing. We played a 2-minute zone scrimmage, down 4, had to find a way to climb ourselves out, and then you stop them and you teach them, and you talk to them about, we're uncomfortable right now, and we're back on our heels, because in the middle of the press offense drill that we did, where we were down 12, we were really good. We scored 7 straight points, really executed, played really confident, and then 2-3 turnovers. Now next thing you know, we're back on our heels, and we're doing exactly what we don't want to do through adversity. So it's a chip away thing. It's not a fix it overnight thing. It's something that they've got to learn, and you've got to fail a little bit, and you've got to keep pressing on, and then just learn what it feels like to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
You bring up turnovers, and I think it's fair to say that was an Achilles heel this last week on the road. How do you, as you go back and watch the film, is there a common theme or an area in which you feel like you can start to whittle that number down game by game?
Yeah, I think it was different in both games. I thought at Old Dominion they were really aggressive on the ball, and we got really passive. We were back on our heels. We weren't ripping through and playing strong and owning our space, nose over toes, we call it. And that was interesting, because I thought that we had kind of moved past some of that, how we play with the ball in our hands. And so they really had us sped up, and then you don't shoot it very well because you're so sped up. And then Georgia State, they don't let you get comfortable. I thought we had 11 assists in the first half. We were really comfortable. We were running our stuff. They tightened up their press a little bit, and then we dribbled into traps. We didn't play strong in traps. And so I thought it was the press, the full court press on Saturday. It was the half court pressure against Old Dominion. So we can't keep finding ways to turn the ball over. We've got to try to find some ways to secure the basketball, because when we do move and share the ball, we're a really good basketball team.
In the midst of a rough patch, you look at the numbers, you guys are still leading the Sun Belt in scoring defense. You're still second in the league in field goal percentage, third in rebounding margin. I mean, those are things that are going to set you up for long-term success. How are you able to continue to hit home with your players, with your staff, that we're still doing a lot of things well?
Yeah, I mean, that's the hard thing as the head coach, right? Is because you have to walk in that film room today, and those players have to feel motivated. There has to be belief that they can do it. A lot of them have never been in their shoes of where we are right now. There's still a lot of season and time to improve. And then you've got to be firm with them, and then you got to show them. And so, you show them this is the difference, and how small the room for error is, right? And so we showed them we fouled 20 times in the second half, or they shot 20 free throws in the second half. So we showed just where we got our hips on them and jumped and jumped and jumped. And so I think you've got to show them these little fixes go a long way. But again, those little fixes don't matter if we can't come together as a group and a core group through that adversity. So, because we are doing a lot of things well, right? I think a lot of people talk about our defense. A lot of people talk about our rebounding, but we've got to be able to do it when the game is on the line.
All right, plenty more to get to with head coach Laura Sharp, but first we've got to take a timeout App State football season ticket holders can renew their season tickets today online and once again pack the rock for 2026. And if you renew your tickets by April 15th, you not only lock in your price for the 2026 season, but also the 2027 season. Head to appstatesports.com/tickets to renew yours today. It's Mountaineer Talk presented by UNC Health Blue Ridge, and it continues right after this.
By UNC Health Blue Ridge, talking all things App State basketball. Let's rejoin your host, Matt Present.
Welcome back to Mountaineer Talk, continuing our conversation tonight with head coach Laura Sharp, and we kicked off the show with Defna Atla, and tell me about, she told us a little bit from her perspective, her journey from Turkey to the United States and now to App State. From your perspective, when she first got on your radar, what stood out and what was that recruiting process through the portal like for you?
Yeah, I mean, familiar with the West Virginia program. I know their head coach very well. He's kind of like a mentor to me, so I respect anyone that he obviously has in the program. And when we watched her film, and we really leaned on her international film also, we saw that she had a lot of diversity to her game. Obviously, she comes with great length and a good basketball IQ, but I really believe she has the highest upside of anybody on our roster. She's a sophomore, but her experience level at this is really like a freshman, and so she's learning through the lens of a sophomore, but really with freshman experience. And so it's been kind of fun watching her learn and grow. And she's very, very driven. She's really hard on herself, which can also be her greatest weakness, and she knows that. And but I think she's started to really see some wins in the last few games. It's not going to be perfect, but it's nice to be able to see her start making better decisions with the ball in her hands on the block.
You and I have talked previously about all that you do and your staff does when it comes to putting together these individualized player development plans. How has that gone with her specifically?
Well, it's been kind of fun because she's kind of my person. And so her and I do the most individuals of anybody else on the team. And so that's been fun. It's always kind of been my niche to develop post players. As an assistant at Louisiana Tech and Southern Miss, it's the position that I coach. And if you look at all the best teams that I've ever had as a head coach, way back from Garden City and even to Presbyterian, we've always had a really good block player. And so I saw something in her her, and we're playing her starter minutes and giving her that opportunity, because I just feel like as she continues to grow, our team's going to be so much better in February and March. But for her, we had to start with the physicality, teaching her how to post up, teaching her how to not travel when she catches the basketball. Now she's moving past kind of those fundamentals and to, okay, this is how your defender's playing you. Sometimes she's drawing a double team, and so what to do with the basketball, and just getting more comfortable in those situations. But, it's fun because she has the ability to shoot the three. She's starting to offensive rebound better. So the sky is the limit. We can make her a face-up player, a back-to-the-basket player. That's what I say when her upside is really high. We've just got to stay in her player development.
Obviously, so much goes into her development on the court, but to have an international player, and I know you've coached internationals before throughout your career, what does that do for the rest of the team just to have that kind of exposure to something different, not only for the international player coming to the U.S., but for everyone who is U.S.-based and probably grew up in a fairly U.S.-based community, to have that exposure as well?
Well, one thing I love about international players, and especially Duffy, as we call her, the gratitude that they have for the opportunity. They do not take it for granted. Duffy especially doesn't, and they know it's a great opportunity, and I feel like they try really hard to make the most of it, where Americans, I feel like we've normalized it a little bit more. If you play on the circuit, that's just what you do. You go to college, you get a scholarship, and that's what everybody expects. And so I love that piece of it. She's also a genius, makes really good grades. Obviously, being a science major is really, really difficult at App State, and so I do feel like they also take their academics very serious, very low maintenance types of individuals.
We touched a little bit on just, what you and your staff are doing throughout this season and in preparation. I just wanted to hit on Joel Harrison joining your staff for the first time this year. What has he brought to the table? Yeah,
so he also works with the post players. He's done a really good job. I really trust him. I appreciate all that he has brought to us. He's pretty experienced as far as he's had a lot of different jobs on staffs. I like to hire people who have kind of worked their way up. He was a manager. He coached NAIA. He coached Division II. Then he earned an opportunity last year at West Georgia to break into Division I. He also accepts a challenge. We give him projects. We give him, this, that, and the other. He wants to be good. He's got a high ceiling as a coach. But I think he really connects with the players too.
All right, you guys are back on the road this week. I know it's been a tough schedule early. It's been a grind. You were saying earlier it's all going to get paid back down the road because the home games start to add up down the stretch when hopefully you're hitting your stride going into the tournament. But as you guys travel down to Texas State and Louisiana this week, take us through what your schedule's like and how you try to break things up and both do prep for those games but also give your team some rest and recovery.
Yeah, well, I kind of finished today with letting the team know, what we've done has not been that easy. By the time we get home, we will play 9 conference games, 6 on the road, only 3 at home. We're getting the flip side of that moving into February, which I think is really, really good and will be really helpful, helping us play good basketball leading into the tournament and the most important time of the year. But tomorrow's a long day for us, right? There's no easy way to get to Texas State. So we'll practice. I think we've got film at 8:30 in the morning. We'll practice right after. They'll have about an hour and 15 minutes shower, grab all the things. We'll head to Charlotte to the airport. So we get in so late tomorrow night. We won't go to the gym or do anything else, but we've got a long day tomorrow. We're actually traveling with our academic advisor because we've missed so much school last week. We're missing literally Tuesday to Saturday this week. So we'll have some study hall, and we'll get to the game on Wednesday night. We're actually going to stay there, get up the next morning, bus the 4 hours to Louisiana. We'll probably do some sort of light practice, walk through, do some treatment, some recovery, and then have more of a normal practice. And then we've got a 1 p.m. game, which we asked for so we could get a flight out on Saturday night, and we'll get home probably in the wee hours of Sunday morning. But that's what's life on the road. People don't really understand. You do because you travel with the team. The late film sessions, the early mornings, the sore bodies, the lifting on the road, all the things that go into the travel in the Sun Belt.
I might understand, but I'm not playing on top of it.
Me neither.
Coach, safe travels. Best of luck this week. Looking forward to seeing your team.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Coach, Alora Sharp joining us tonight here on Mountaineer Talk. And while we know you're enjoying your time here at River Street Ale House, make sure to also check out Town Tavern Blowing Rock for a great dining experience. They're open lunch, dinner, and later and have 19 flat-screen TVs for you to catch the game. They also boast the largest outdoor dining area in the high country, so make sure to stop by Town Tavern Blowing Rock on your next trip to the high country. But we'll shift our attention to the men's side. Kason Jennings will join us right after this. It's Mountaineer Talk presented by UNC Health Blue Ridge, and it continues after these messages.
Compassionate, high-quality care. Now, with our new patient tower, we set the standard for growth and innovation. Our 6-story tower in Morganton, North Carolina features advanced critical care rooms, a new emergency department, and a rooftop helipad. You'll see the difference immediately with the same compassionate care you've always trusted. UNC Health Blue Ridge, moving healthcare forward together. Visit uncbr.org/tower to learn more.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, we believe that getting to know you is the best way to protect what you love most. We have friendly agents in every county to help you prepare for the unexpected. And when life doesn't go as planned, our award-winning claims team will be with you every step of the way. Find a local agent today at ncfbins.com. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Covering App State University takes the strongest wireless service in the area. With Carolina West Wireless, Mountaineers get the most reliable coverage on campus and across the country with our award-winning high-speed nationwide network. We offer the latest devices and technology at a great value with an exceptional local customer service experience that you deserve. Try us risk-free for 30 days. Carolina West Wireless is proud to be the official wireless provider of the Mountaineers.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, we believe that getting to know you is the best way to protect what you love most. We have friendly agents in every county to help you prepare for the unexpected. And when life doesn't go as planned, our award-winning claims team will be with you every step of the way. Find a local agent today at ncfbins.com. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Welcome back to Mountaineer Talk, presented by UNC Health Blue Ridge. Now, for more App State Hoops Talk, here's Matt Present.
Welcome back to Mountaineer Talk. Thanks for joining us here at River Street Ale House or wherever you're catching the show. As we shift our attention to the men's side of things, Kason Jennings joining us here. And Kason, a big week for you as you reach the 1,000-point plateau in your college career. Congratulations, first and foremost.
Thank you.
When you started playing college basketball, that's a number that means something to everyone.
Yes,
to
sir.
reach that milestone this week, what does it mean to you?
It was big time, but it was more big time for me because we were able to get the win. And my whole team played well. Going into the game, I had no clue that I was that close. But it's just a testament to my work, and I give all glory to God. I was glad I was able to achieve that goal. So,
let's talk a little bit about your career. App State is your third stop. You started at Kennesaw State. You actually played against the Mountaineers at the home center a few years ago.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember much about that matchup? What stands out, if anything?
From that matchup, I really remember just how hard they were playing. Like a lot of the things that I learned when I got here, they were doing during that game, and I was just amazed just by how hard they played. Y'all had a pretty good crowd that day too. I wanted to say it was a tournament that we were playing in. It was a night game, and the crowd was big time for y'all. It got loud in there at one point, very loud. So I just remember how hard that team was playing. I think they had Donovan Gregory on that team. They had a squad that year.
Yep. Remember it well. All right, so you start at Kennesaw State. You go to the NCAA tournament. What was that experience like? It was their first NCAA tournament team, and you got a chance to play in the dance.
Oh, yeah. It's everything I could ask for, especially just what we went through early on during my career at Kennesaw. We started off my freshman year not very good. We probably won 7 games my first year. Then going to the second year, we won, I want to say like 12 or 13 games. So a little better, but still not over the hump. And then my junior year, that's when, we just shined through. We felt like going into every game, there was nobody that could beat us. So we ended up winning the regular season that year and won the tournament championship, which we were able to play at Kennesaw because we were the number 1 seed. So that was pretty cool too. But the tournament is everything that, every college athlete wants, especially at the basketball level. Like, you want to experience that in college. It's a surreal moment, and I'm hoping that this team can get there this year. So I'm looking forward to it.
You follow your head coach to South Florida, Amir Abdul-Rahim, who tragically passed away last year, and I know he meant a lot to you. Following that season, entering the transfer portal, you had the relationship with Tanner Smith, who was on the Kennesaw State team, App State's assistant. I assume that he played a role in getting in touch with you and getting you to Boone, but how did that all play out for you?
Most definitely. So he contacted me the day after I entered the portal and just told me, hey, there's a home here for you. I'm family, so, we're going to take care of you. And from then on, he had all the coaches contact me, Kearns FaceTime me probably the next day. And they were just very thorough with their recruitment, more than any of the other schools that were recruiting me. And that whole process, it was just very smooth. And I really liked the structure that they had during my visit, just with my development plan and, how they want the team to play and how I would fit with this team. So it was big time. But I would say Tanner being here definitely, he played a big part in me committing. Along with just, it was a great group of guys when I came on my visit. I saw how much they bonded with each other, and that stood out to me. And I'm all about family, and it was a family environment when I came around, so it's pretty cool.
You found your voice quickly as a leader on a new team.
Yes, sir.
How does that happen for someone who enters a team that they haven't played with before, a lot of new guys? Mm-hmm. How have you become comfortable being a leader within this group?
I just know that, I've played a lot of basketball, a lot of college basketball. I've seen a lot that some of my other teammates haven't seen yet. And so I knew that I could have a voice and I could, give them some input on, how to go about things throughout the season. And I know I could help a lot of them out throughout the season. And I feel like, they make it easy for me. Everybody they love me. I love them. We all have a bond where we can, tell each other, what's right and what's wrong, and, we can move on from it. And so they make it pretty easy for me. I try to give them the knowledge that I have so they can go out and be great. Because at the end of the day, that's what I want to see. I want to see all my teammates be successful, and not just in basketball, but in life. And so I feel like that was my purpose when I came here, to just be the best version of myself I could be as a teammate, as a person, so I can give that to my teammates and, give them energy each and every day to be the best version of themselves.
You've hit some big shots this season. A game winner against Charlotte, game winner against High Point. You go to your hometown, you hit a game winner in Atlanta. Have you always had the, quote, clutch gene, or is that something that has been a part of your development?
I would say I've had a clutch gene, I would say, since high school. It kind of just when it comes down to the end of the game, I trust my work and I want the ball in my hands. So, after that, I just leave it to God. I feel like my work is going to shine through at the end of the day. And so, yeah, it's just, I really just trust my work in those moments. And most of the time, it comes through. You miss shots and you make shots, but it's part of it. So, yeah, I would say I've had the clutch gene for a minute.
Well, we look forward to that continuing down the stretch this season. Kaysen, appreciate the time tonight, and best of luck down the stretch as we continue in Sunbelt play.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Kaysen Jennings joining us here tonight on Mountaineer Talk. And we will continue with head coach Dustin Kearns in a moment. First, App State baseball is just 25 days away, and season tickets are on sale now for all 22 home games at Smith Stadium, plus the 5 in Hickory. That includes non-conference matchups against Wake Forest and High Point. 5 Sunbelt home series beginning with Coastal Carolina on March 13th. Get your tickets now at appstatesports.com. Mountaineer Talk continues right after this.
Miss, your burger is served.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Mountaineer Talk. Thanks for joining us here at River Street Ale House or wherever you're catching the show tonight. Head coach Dustin Kearns alongside his comments brought to you by Blue Ridge Energy, powering a brighter future. Let's start off by talking about Kaysen Jennings, a big-time addition to this year's team. You faced him as an opponent several years ago. Obviously, we talked about Tanner Smith having familiarity with him, but as you got to see his film and go through the recruiting process, what stood out most to you?
Yeah, I just thought it was we just thought it was a great fit. I think sometimes when you're searching for talent, it's about the right talent and it's about fit. And Kaysen's, I think, values align with our values. He's been a part of winning programs, and he went through an incredible, unfortunate tragedy with his former coach. And so, in his last year, being around a familiar face, and I think was important to him. But he's a great kid. He works really hard. He's had a lot of big moments for us this year. I think he's got some more to go, and certainly we're glad to have Kaysen in our program. Congratulations to him for the 1,000th point. That's a remarkable accomplishment.
Yeah, big time. And not only that, but he's doubled his career scoring averages this season, really doubled a lot of different categories. He talked about when you met with him and going through the process, the development plan that you guys put in place to help him and certainly to help the team at large this year. Where have you seen that pay off in terms of his growth in leading the way for your team?
Yeah, I think that it's a lot of people invested in him getting better. I think that our development speaks for itself. If you look at him, but if you look at Michael Marcus, you look at Alonzo Dodd, you look at Luke Wilson, you look how players in our program get better. We have some pretty loud slides that we show in recruiting of how our players improve in many examples. We've had our guards have been really successful. I think we've had like 13 all-conference guards or something like that. So we've had a bunch, and so so that's very appealing too. But the biggest part of the equation is Kaysen, right? And so I see him in the gym almost every morning, and so he works hard. He means a lot to him. He had 15 points last year against Florida, who won the national championship, and so it's a great fit. And I think most importantly, a lot of times that's the key.
All right, let's go back and talk about the two games this week, starting with JMU. And you guys jump out to a 12-0 lead in that game. You win wire to wire. What stood out most to you about your team's performance in that one?
Yeah, I mean, we've been good on Thursdays, and we played really, really well, and probably our most complete game of the season. Led from start to finish. Defensively, offensively, just things were clicking on both sides of the ball, and once again, we played really, really well.
On Saturday, you guys come back. You were down 19 at half by as much as 20, and you come all the way back, have a chance to win it at the end, ultimately fall short by 2. Take us through. I know you guys do a great job of practicing all sorts of late game situations, and you get a chance to run an offensive play at the end. You get a chance at the free throw line with 0.7 seconds left. How do all those reps in practice situationally, time and score and foul count and all the things that you guys work on play into moments like that?
Yeah, I mean, and they're all, even though you can practice them, right, they're all, so we were out of timeouts. We wanted to run something. Jalen Todd had just made a 3, wanted to, make or miss, so down 3, and so I just rolled with it, down 2. I thought that, he made one, and he's got a chance to make one again there. I thought it was a good look. I thought the roof of Holmes would, explode. I just thought we had to find a way to get the lead, right? But we spent a lot of energy coming back, and credit Old Dominion that the Sun Belt is once again a lot of parity, a lot of so it's kind of hard to explain sometimes. But then we get a chance to we discussed missing the second free throw, trying to tip it out, get a 3.7 makes it a little tough because you've got to get a tap and get a shot off. So we decided to make the shot, get a 5-second count, and we almost did. They I think just threw a shot, threw a pass in there. We were able to at least get another attempt up. But those are all learning opportunities, and those experiences will pay off in the end.
You mentioned post-game about installing the triangle and 2 several weeks ago, just kind of putting it in your back pocket to have for a moment like that if you needed it. What's the process? What goes into installing something that is not necessarily going to be deployed right away, but just having it in the bag of tricks?
Yeah, and because you don't want to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. And so, that was something that, looking at our conference, felt like there's maybe, a theme of potential lineups that we could use that. Once again, that sort of defense has got to really, most importantly, depend on your opponent and the 5 people on the court. It's got to fit that particular, and it did fit, and so we rolled with it and got 7 straight stops. Even though they made subs, we just decided to just roll with it. They made a couple threes, and so we adjusted from there. But, I think, as a coach, I'm also willing to try stuff. 9 years a head coach, we've never done that before, but I'm also willing to, I'm open-minded and trying to try new things.
All right, plenty more to get to with head coach Dustin Kearns, but we've got to take a timeout before we do. Tonight's show brought to you in part by the Peddlin' Pig. Thank you for your continued support of App State Athletics. More Mountaineer Talk continues right after this.
A winning team is more than Energy. We share the same commitment to excellence as the Appalachian State men's and women's basketball teams. That's why we'll never stop working to provide the energy solutions your family needs and the community deserves. Blue Ridge Energy is proud to be part of the community, proud to be part of App Nation, and proud to partner with App State. Together, we're powering a brighter future. Go Mountaineers!
What does it mean to be first for teaching? First, we listen. First, we engage. First, we recognize potential. You have what it takes: the drive, the smarts, and the heart to be the kind of educator that changes and inspires lives. 2 million kids are waiting for you. But first, your journey starts right here. Be first. Be an App State teacher. Learn more at firstteach.appstate.edu.
From the training room to the sideline to the goal line, App Ortho has you covered. Performing advanced hip, knee, shoulder, and back surgeries in Boone, App Ortho offers same-day appointments and telehealth visits. App Ortho is also the official sports medicine and orthopedic provider for App State Athletics. Call 828-386-2663 to schedule your appointment or visit apprhs.org.
Covering App State University takes the strongest wireless service in the area. With Carolina West Wireless, Mountaineers get the most reliable coverage on campus and across the country with our award-winning high-speed nationwide network. We offer the latest devices and technology at a great value with an exceptional local customer service experience that you deserve. Try us risk-free for 30 days. Carolina West Wireless is proud to be the official wireless provider of the Mountaineers.
Welcome back to Mountaineer Talk, presented by UNC Health Blue Ridge. Now, for more App State Hoops Talk, here's Matt Present.
Welcome back to the show. Head coach Dustin Kearns alongside. All right, Coach, today, MLK Day, we celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. King, and I know that every year it's important to you and your staff that when we take the trip down to Atlanta that we stop at his birthplace, his memorial. What is it that you hope your players take away from those experiences?
Yeah, just giving them the opportunity to remember and honor and educate all of us, including ourselves, as far as moments in history like that. You know, today I showed them a video of George Raveling, who was very influential in the game of basketball and very influential in Michael Jordan signing with Nike. But George Raveling was there on the day of I Have a Dream speech and actually got the original copy. And so I shared with them that we watched the thing about the story so they could really learn the history of it. And so, all those things are always very important to, reflect and honor and remember.
No question. That's really cool, the involvement that he had in history and in basketball. Going back to your team this season, you guys are leading the Sun Belt in scoring defense, and that's something that you have done each of your last 4 years. It's a different team each season. What has allowed you to stay consistent on that end of the floor?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that, we do believe in what we do. We believe in how we do it. I think that we're also always tweaking, though. I think that we're always adapting. Over those years, we've made changes and not always done things exactly the same way. I think that we've always fit to our players and play to their strengths. But from the core, there has been some consistency, but there's always been some tweaks here and there to really fit our team.
Well, and to your point, the scoring defense, it's one number, but it's a variety of defenses. You guys are playing man. You guys are playing a couple different zones. You've integrated some full court looks as well. What's the process of figuring out what makes the most sense in order to show something here or there? Because sometimes it's just a matter of having an opponent understand that they might see something different, right?
Yeah, obviously you want to try to get into your opponent's scouting reports and things like that. I also think that the offense is part of it too. If you come down and you take a quick shot in 5 seconds, now you're going down and playing defense again. And obviously if you don't take care of the basketball, there's not a lot of defense for turnovers. And so, offense plays a part of it too, and valuing the ball, taking care of the ball, and taking great shots.
Well, and to your point, you guys are now 26th nationally in fewest turnovers committed.
That helps our defense.
No question.
Yeah.
But how have you been able to get better as the year has gone on in the way in which you've not only shared the basketball but valued the basketball?
Yeah, I think sometimes just keeping it simple. It's something that we just value. I think that we value defense. I think that we really try to value, taking care and protecting the basketball. And so those are, certainly things that we just really continue to emphasize.
All right, before we get to the week ahead, we're counting down to the College Football National Championship. There's some pre-game coverage on TVs here at Ale House, and you want to make a pick. Who are you going with this year?
Well, I'm going with Indiana. I think that obviously Miami has great tradition. It's really the two storylines where you got a great tradition program versus a program that's really new to, the college football elite. But I love watching championship games. So Game 7 of the World Series, I don't watch a lot of baseball. I'm going to watch the Game 7 of the World Series. And I think the dog pile is the best celebration in all sports. But I wish we did the dog pile in basketball. But anyway,
Hey, you can make your own rules. You can dog pile when you win the Sun Belt this year.
I don't watch a ton of NFL. I watch the Super Bowl. I like watching teams win championships. I like seeing all that hard work and the celebration and seeing teammates. And so I look forward to watching it. I just think, I don't know football. I do feel like I understand team and kind of but Indiana's had a special season. And so I'm hopeful that they can finish, their season off. And it's a great storyline with the quarterback from Miami. And obviously Cignetti coached in the Sun Belt and things like that. So, you know what? I hope Indiana goes 16-0. And 50 years since Indiana basketball was the last undefeated basketball team.
Wow.
1976. Exactly 50 years. Can the Hoosiers get it done tonight and go 16-0 in football 50 years later? We'll see.
Well, if it's anything like Game 7 of the World Series, we're in for a treat. Lastly, as you guys get ready for 2 at home this week, what's your parting message to your team?
Yeah, we've got to find a way to play well again on Thursday and then turn around and find a way to win on a Saturday, which we just, for whatever reason, haven't done this year, whether it's, I think for different reasons. But we've got to find a way to get a sweep. We've got to find a way to get a sweep. And, Louisiana just won at South Alabama, so that's a really quality win. Once again, the league's kind of wild. And so they're coming off a really good road win. But we've got to find a way to get 2 wins over a weekend and check that box. Take that stair.
Coach, appreciate it. Good luck this week.
Good. Thanks for all the fans and the administration that came out. Really appreciate it. Go, Jeffrey, biggest fan right here. All right, go Mountaineers. Take the stairs.
Thanks to head coach Dustin Kearns here today. We will wrap up the show right after this.
Ortho has you covered. Performing advanced hip, knee, shoulder, and back surgeries in Boone, App Ortho offers same-day appointments and telehealth visits. App Ortho is also the official sports medicine and orthopedic provider for App State Athletics. Call 828-386-2663 to schedule your appointment or visit apprhs.org.
You're locked in to Mountaineer Talk, presented by UNC Health Blue Ridge, talking all things App State basketball. Let's rejoin your host, Matt Present.
All right, wrapping up tonight's show. If you missed any of it, you can listen on demand on the Nothing But an App State podcast feed. Thanks to Defna Atla and Kaysen Jennings for being a part of the show tonight, and to Dustin Kearns and Allure Sharp as always. The women take on Texas State on Wednesday at 8 o'clock and then travel to Louisiana for a 2 o'clock Eastern tip. The men at home against Louisiana on Thursday. That brought to you by the Wright College of Education. And then Saturday at 1 o'clock against ULM. That contest brought to you by Window World. Thank you to the Wright College of Education and Window World for their continued support of App State Athletics. Thanks to Ryan Sirk back inside our network studios. Thanks to Zach Kellogg here on hand at Ale House. I'm Matt Present saying thanks again for listening, and we will see you next week for Mountaineer Talk. So long, everybody.